All right, just a quick show of hands. Who got sleep last night? You? Good job. Me? Nah. This? Done. This? Done. This? 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 This is the Hoop Show. Good morning, everyone. Get your ass up. We got some stuff to talk about.
Bruh.
Hold on. Hold on. I just need to touch something. We had a show put together. It's not like we were ignoring the trade deadline, y'all. We weren't. Come on, man. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the TSA Hoop Show. I'm your host, JR. We had a... It's like if the star of the show decides to no-show, show up late, whatever. It's like the owners of the show decided, hey, we're going to go in a completely new direction 5 minutes before the show starts. That's how... I mean, we've honestly had time to prepare for what happened last night. And I know that the show was slated to talk a little bit more about All-Star Game, about the snubs, reserves, the picks, the games that have transpired in this last week, because there have been some great games, some great performances. I know all of that, y'all. But the NBA sabotaged this. Okay. Okay. Iggy, who hopped on the account, said unreal. Coach said you can't trade Luka and not tell the league he's available. Malpractice, but new Mavs ownership. Okay.
David Stern is rolling over in his grave right now.
Hold on, let me get my hood up real quick. I'm just trying to pick something to fit my fat head right now, because right now, if you are a Lakers fan and you don't have a big head right now, if you don't think that you won, right? If you don't think that you won right now as a Lakers fan, outside of me, because I have to stay like right here for the show, go back and just look at the trade again and look at the time that it was reported by our new Woj, by NBA's new Woj, okay, Shams, okay? Yeah, go back and I know Woj is like, oh, my guy is 2 for 2 already, man. He's 2 for 2.
That Jimmy Butler is gonna be hitting crazy.
Nah, I don't think Jimmy Butler gonna hit. Like, I think, you know what? I think that whatever happens with Jimmy now, everyone's gonna be like, all right, but Luka though, come on now.
So I'm gonna say this real quick before we get too deep into it. Okay. This is kind of reminiscent to me of where you remember where you were when you saw that KD got traded to Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I remember exactly what I was doing when the trade went out. I was in the middle of going to sleep. Like, me and my girl, we was getting ready to go to sleep, man. Like, she's already damn near already passed out. And I get a notification in the group chat, that in one of my group chats that I'm in. And I'm sitting here like, nah, that's fake. And then I immediately go to Twitter and I see Shams and I see the trade happen. And I'm like, hold on. And then I actually go to click on his account, because you got so many troll accounts and parody accounts out there. I'm sitting here thinking there's no way in hell this real. And I clicked on the account and I'm like, wait, no, this is real. This actually happened. This isn't like, what? And there are people that are waking up right now just now realizing that this trade went down. They were asleep last night. And most of them that are crazy night owls up in the middle of the night, Shams out of nowhere just said, "Hey, guess what? I'm gonna drop the biggest trade bomb ever."
It
Like,
was I think that was Sham's intro tweet too. No. Yeah. Because I think that was a transition. Like that was when the Woj coming off was like you could already start to see the patterns of where he was gonna become the new Woj. So that I think that was his first like because Shams was already in it. Shams was like the intern for Woj. And then Shams was like, I'm the master now. I got the power.
the captain now.
I'm the captain now. Okay, let's go ahead and just recap real quick what happened. And this was a very structured show. And then, someone dropped news like a toddler does a tantrum. And so now all hell's broken loose. Okay, so last night at I believe it was 10. It was a little bit before 10 Pacific Standard Time. Sean's NBA reported that the Lakers had traded. Actually, let's put it this way: Dallas had traded Luka Doncic and Maxi Kleber to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, for Max Christie, and a first round 2029 pick. This deal also includes a third team, Utah Jazz, that included Jalen Hood-Schifino, first round pick from the Los Angeles Clippers, and a first round pick from the Dallas Mavericks. Okay. Oh, sorry, a second round pick from Dallas Mavericks and a second round pick from the Los Angeles Clippers. Oh, the Lakers also acquired
Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris.
Markieff Morris was the other one. I forgot that one. Okay, so just real quick, I'm gonna break it down from the bottom to the top of the players involved in this. So you have the second round picks that go to Los Angeles Clippers, which are still trying to continue to put pieces around and try to figure out something to kind of help the franchise in the state of where it's at, because we've been talking about the health and the availability of Kawhi Leonard all year. He has since come back. He's since performed well, continued to push the Clippers in the Western Conference, and more importantly in the Pacific Division, up the rankings in order for them to successfully try to get back into the playoffs this year. So they've been doing a great job of that. James Harden's been doing a great job of that. The acquisition, the giving off of those picks helps also open up some room, getting rid of Markieff Morris, who essentially was being paid to sit on the bench. Offloads some of that and gives them some space. So if they wanted to make a move this season, of course, that's good for them. They get under the apron, so lots of room for them. Dallas Mavericks. So
Take time.
I'd rather go. I'd honestly rather go run a half marathon right now. The mental gymnastics I was doing behind this, I was like, okay, let's just get it done, get it out the way. Okay, so they give up Maxi Kleber, who has been on again, off again, has actually been good for Dallas in stints on an offensive standpoint, somewhat on the defensive standpoint, but that's been more in the lines of like Danilo Gafford, and I'm trying to think of the other forward / center that they have there.
Lively.
Say again.
Derek Lively.
Yeah, Derek Lively. That's the other one. So Kleber has been good in stints. We'll talk about it in the chat before. Decent 3-point shooter, so actually can stretch the floor offensively. Can kind of execute. He's sort of like I'm trying to think of a good quick comparable right now. He's more offensively open. Nurkic is what I want to compare him to on the quick stance. But defensively, This is still comparing to AD as far as the Lakers are concerned on the interior defense. Now, Jalen Hood-Schifino, who of course has since the beginning of the season, almost towards the end of last season, got the extension, but has gone. His whole availability has been eviscerated. Has not been available offensively. Has been a defensive liability. Lakers trying to figure any in every way to try to get rid of him, and so they do. They ship him off to Utah. Happy trails, son. You're going to get some playing time. I'm guaranteed you're going to be in the rotation very quickly. I hope that you get your playing back on track. Dallas Mavericks. Then, of course, all season long, Luka's been on again, off again as far as his availability, his health. We'll get into that in a little bit, but this is a team that brought over Kyrie, said the two could work. The two did work because they went to the NBA Finals. This is making me mad.
This still ain't making no sense. How do you? Go ahead. I'll wait. It's so much right now. Just
okay. The Lakers then trade Max Christie, who has been a very defensively sound on the wing. He has been a great person in place of Jared Vanderbilt, who Lakers been waiting for over a season and a half to come back to full health. Okay, finally got Jared Vanderbilt back in full health. And see how the rotation is kind of working with Vando up there, with Christie up there. There was a defensive killing machine in the backcourt. It was awesome. So they give up a conditional, they give up a first round pick, they give up Max Christie and Anthony Davis, who is, I believe, I want to have to double check this. I believe he's in the third year or second or third year in his 3-year deal contract. I believe that's what we're looking at. It was a 3+1 for Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis is coming off of 2 70-game seasons. Remember, prior to that, we did not have the Anthony Davis as available. Injury prone over the last 5 years, not even including that 2020 season of which the Lakers won the championship. So, all that being said, anybody got some of them Luka Doncic?
I was this close to winning my Luka jersey, and I've had one for a while now, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait, but I almost put that jersey on for the show.
Yeah, thank you, Iggy, for mentioning that. As a side note, the fact that we get to see Luka and LeBron together is really special. Absolutely, this whole season is special. It's going to write itself. It's going to be a Disney special. We're going to get a Netflix special about it. We're going to get a Netflix special about this season. Netflix is probably going to Netflix.
Did you watch Starting Five on Netflix?
No. I keep telling everybody. I didn't watch Starting Five. I didn't watch Receiver. Okay, I barely watched the quarterback one. Okay, The reason why I don't watch these is because if it involves anyone that is on my team, I have this weird thing about it having bad luck and affecting the player, because now and then I also get into my head, like, if that player gets injured and it's out for the season, I'm like, oh, they were shooting the show. The team has a really bad loss that causes them not to win the championship. Oh, it's because of the show. So I start blaming entertainment outside of the sport because I believe it's a distraction. I start getting locked into a season like a player would, and I strongly believe that the outside stuff, the hard knocks, all that stuff becomes a distraction. So I don't watch it. Does Austin Reeves become the real loser in this trade? No. We're gonna get into why in a second, guys. Don't worry, we're gonna break this down. The whole trade sucks. I'm sorry. The only way that the Lakers won this trade is by offloading JHS, because they've been looking to do that all season. But all right. Health-wise, AD and Luka, like, AD just got injured. He had the hamstring strain. Injured it against Philadelphia.
Man, this wasn't even like
but a week, like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Luka was out for like 3 weeks, y'all. Wasn't even available. Dallas's last few games. Dallas been struggling for air trying to get back up in the standings. Kyrie's been trying to do what he did in Cleveland, okay? Carry another team, trying to do what he did in Cleveland, trying to do what he did in Brooklyn, trying to do what he did in Boston for a little bit. I feel sorry for Kai. He goes to an organization, they give him love, they bring him in, they say, oh, you're going to do this and now you're going to be great with. You're going to be great with LeBron. Bye, LeBron. You're going to be great in Boston. JB gets injured. Okay. Tatum don't show up. All right. You're going to be great in Brooklyn. Where's Harden? Thank you for coming back finally, KD.
They were.
Hold on. My daughter got something to say. Hold on. Good morning. We're yelling right now. Here, tell the people hi. Tell Mr. Rico hi. You say good morning. This is the TSA NBA show with your host JR. Rico, go ahead, man. Break it down for us.
Yeah, just looking at it a little bit more, man. This is insane in itself. I believe the reason I asked about the whole starting five thing, I think I saw like Molly Morrison, who's big with the Bleacher Report. She said something about how I think the NBA was a year too early with this show because of how everything is transpired for all the individuals that are on the show for this season. And I'm like, what? What is going on? Looking at it from last time, like a standpoint of the last time we saw AD, this man dropped 40 and 20 the last time we saw him on a basketball court. 40 and 20. So the impact that he is going to have with Dallas is going to be insurmountable. The pick and rolls that he and Kyrie are going to have are going to be nasty. Let's go ahead and put that out there. That scheme is going to be insane. Good luck stopping that. You were talking about Kyrie. He has a player option after this year, so there's no telling where he's going to go next in the future. Like he's got a year left after this, possibly, and I don't know what Dallas is going to do. Looking at it from a standpoint of Luka, I was looking at this last night, just contract wise and all that other stuff. Luka has this year and next year in the contract and a player option for 2026, 2027, which is close to about 50 mil. I think it's like 48, 49 million, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you were saying earlier, this is a future plan. Luka is just 25 years old. AD's 31, 32, I believe. So this is obviously planning for the future, but this also tells me that within the next year or two, LeBron's done. Like the personal opinion, other people may say this is a fact. This is an opinion. I have no idea. Within the next year, LeBron is calling it quits because you don't make this trade without some certainty that he's going to be gone. But also, the fact that this was done in backdoor channels where nobody had any indications about it, not a whisper, not a murmur, not a nothing. This was done in the heat of the night where nobody was known about this. And like I said, I go back and check my check the group chat that I was in. This was at 11:21 my time.
Yeah.
When that news broke. When I saw it, somebody sent the screenshot, it was from Instagram. And then I'm sitting here like checking Twitter, refreshing it every time. I'm still waking up today looking at it. And I put a screenshot in our group chat where ESPN has got Luka with the Lakers backdrop.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real, and I don't think it's gonna feel real until I actually see him donning the purple and gold. Until I see in the Mavs jersey. Until I see
then.
Find out.
Yeah,
like,
even then.
It's not even it's incomprehensible to even think about. And looking at it from the standpoint, like as a basketball fan, like I'm taking my Lakers bias out of it. As a basketball fan, what? It's Nico Harris. Nico Harrison is the Mavs GM. What are you doing?
What the hell?
Just had and Kyrie lead you to the finals last year for the first time since 2011.
I mean, all right.
I get it. But dog, Luka helped lead y'all to the finals last year. And you said that his conditioning was getting in the way. Y'all didn't think he was going to be like a franchise player going for y'all moving forward. You had this man for years to come, and you had all the sense in the world to be able to make an identity for him to be the next guy. Dirk had a tweet out where he was just like, just the eyes open emoji. Like, you had arguably the greatest player in your franchise had that same reaction. And the fact of the matter is this. I thought we switched to sports for a second. I thought the Cowboys were bad. Dallas Mavericks, bro, y'all just took this hot spot as like the most
Why
wild franchise in that city right now. Because what the hell? I cannot believe you just traded this man. We only gave up one first. We still got the 2031 first round pick. We gave up the 2029 pick. We still got moves to make before Thursday because, Lord, I said this last night. I'm not trying to go into the season with my rotation of bigs being Jackson Hayes, Rui Hachimura, Koloko, Maxi Kleber, and Mook. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Our interior defense is already going to be shredded enough as is. Like, who you put Bron at the 5 right now, small ball? JJ, this what we doing? I'm gonna get
Coach said in before Dwight Howard back to the Lakers. In all honesty, Dwight would have worked if AD had stayed. If you had told me they traded LeBron for Luka, I think we would have been not. I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't think we would have been as mad.
I don't think so. I genuinely
look. We would have been like, oh, that's so sad that now he won't get to play with Bronny. Oh, what's gonna happen? That's all it would have been about. Like the Lakers would have acquired Luka Doncic, okay, and then everyone said, "Oh yeah, Lakers definitely won that trade," which is wild to say, right? Luka and LeBron together, everyone's like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?" Luka and AD together, LeBron over in Dallas, everyone said, "Oh man, but what about Bronny?" Everyone would have fed heavily into the LeBron must have facilitated this trade, whatever.
The GM, I'm like, nah, you can't put this on Bron, and you cannot.
No. The way that it's set up now, you cannot put that on anybody except for the parties involved, which are the GMs of the Lakers, GM of the Mavericks, and Danny Ainge over at the Clippers, of course, because Danny Ainge was like, "Oh, if y'all trading, I'm coming away with something."
All right, Denzel, I'm leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with something.
Oh man.
Okay. So, all jokes aside,
Jesus.
Now it's the fallout, right? And the fallout is it's not the NBA, it's the West. I want to be very particular about that because I read a tweet by a guy I followed named Sean Davis, and he goes, "I hate the statement of moves the needle because we don't break down what the needle is." But in respect for that statement, I would like to say this doesn't move the needle as far as being competitive in the West. And I'll break it down in this particular order. Okay, first of all, the head of the dragon is still Oklahoma City, who have done what they've done with their two centers, the best rebounding center in Isaiah Hartenstein, who the other day accumulated 22 rebounds. I don't know what your fantasy team looked like, but mine's smoking right now, okay? 22 rebounds. They've been without Chet Holmgren for weeks, okay? They sent that motherfucker's hips to the wall like it's Game of Thrones. You understand what I'm saying? He has not seen the light of day. He's on rehab. He might be back after the All-Star break. Probably more likely going to get him in March, okay? They've been doing it without those guys. They're still leading in the West by these 5 games. The next closest team is Houston, who has the second best defense, and we still haven't talked about the other Texas teams, okay? Still haven't talked about the other Texas team, one of which, San Antonio, that got beat on the last second shot by Miami, who's still trying to figure out last night, okay? So Texas is still Texas-ing, okay? Then the third team out of all that, still the Memphis Grizzlies right now. Not Denver, who's fourth, who keeps getting beat for some odd reason by teams like New York, who we beat by double digits.
And Braun posted a triple-double, but...
And Braun posted a triple-double, okay? Then it goes Denver and Lakers, okay? Denver, Lakers, then Clippers, okay? I'm going off of memory. This is not, I don't have the screen up, but that's how the West is right now. So the head of the dragon is still Oklahoma City. This doesn't move the needle on beating a team who features, first off, a walking triple-double in SGA, MVP candidate in SGA, a team that not only has improved their three-point shooting, but improved their three-point defense. Their margin of victory is still in the double digits. It's darn near 10 points. That's still improving in their free throw attempts. Okay, so this team gets fouled a lot, they get sent to the line, and that's collectively, y'all. They're doing it without their other star player. Still the head of the dragon. The reason and the needle is to be able to defend on the interior, to be able to defend at the three-point line, which was part of the Lakers Christmas list, which is why they asked for so desperate for getting Vando back. They're still trying to improve their three-point shooting because although they got although they did slightly improve their three-point shooting, and luckily, part of the win last night last night in Madison Square Garden was three-point shooting, because the New York Knicks have also been a poor three-point defending team. So this is part of that. So part of that Christmas list. So what happened was they got offense. They gave up, and we saw Luka in the finals, okay? Luka was so tired, whether it was conditioning, whether it was an injury that had been lingering all season, doesn't matter. The Boston Celtics were attacking Luka Doncic individually. The Lakers have also had a problem of speedy guards attacking Austin Reeves on the wing, okay? If you put Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves on opposite sides of LeBron, you have two holes in a gaping ship. They traded offense for defense. So that's where the needle is not moved against a team like Oklahoma City, who can put up 25, 33s a night, okay? Between J-Dub, between SGA, between the other J-Dub, between Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe is a walking bucket, okay? He can average 4 3-pointers if he wanted to, okay? That's the needle that I'm talking about, okay? Conversely, Dallas might have won this trade. It is all going to be dependent upon AD. Kyrie Irving has been holding onto a herniated disc in his back. Okay, for those that don't know, he's been out and then back in again, out and back in again between herniated disc and a strained shoulder. Those have been Kyrie's injuries, and he's made himself available to help push this Dallas team competitive. AD, as soon as he comes back, it's going to be, I hate to say it, we're going to call it Lob City, okay? That high-low, the pick and roll, that's going to be the first play. And Iggy said in the chat, 225, y'all. 225-25. Get your popcorn ready.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I got a season bet. Anthony Davis triple-double. It might happen over in Dallas now, because they got guys that get open on the wing. They got guys that can lob the ball to. They got guys that will play the 5. You want a 5, AD? Pick from one now. You got 3. Okay, good luck playing the 4 over in Dallas. This doesn't move the needle. Yes, it keeps Dallas competitive with Cleveland. But Cleveland has been getting beat as of late due to poor shooting performances or injuries that have occurred to the team. So they have not been as defensively sound. They have not been as offensively sound. And so Dallas trying to compete with Cleveland in the copycat league, is as we so see every year in and year out. The only way that this works is if Dallas and Cleveland make it to the finals. The only way that you say that this was a success and that the GM was not on one over in Dallas. David Stern rolling in his grave. Okay.
Hey, just as
I'm
a heads
done.
up, I mean, you were talking about the standings earlier. You pretty much got it on the head. I mean, because I just pulled them up. Dallas is currently sitting at 8 right now, behind Minnesota. Minnesota's in that 7th spot. They're 2.5 games back of the sixth spot. And then you got Phoenix at 9, Sacramento at 10, and then the two behind them, Golden State and San
Antonio. Golden State and San Antonio. And
so
yeah. Okay. And okay, Portland was on the verge of beating Phoenix last night. Yo, Phoenix, you want to trade Rui for KD? Since we're just gonna go ahead and break the whole system right now, because don't forget, guys, these trades is essentially are not easy. Lakers were a second apron team, okay? So let's not forget that. Like being able to, I'm sorry, they were first apron team, because when you get into the second apron, you can't just trade salary for salary. You can't just do like a salary dump and then create the salary and just make a move in order to sign another player. The new CBA was designed to keep teams from building super teams. So the 80 for Luka thing was the only real thing that could work within this trade. That's no one really had a star. Yeah, Bradley and KD's reaction on the sideline. No one really had a star that they could trade 1-for-1. Like Luka would have had to go for. Let's go through the teams real quick. Okay, at least the contending teams. So OKC, you trade Luka. Who do you got to trade to get Luka? You can trade Chet, or you can trade SGA.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's it. At Houston, who are you going to trade for Luka? Fred VanVleet?
Was it Jalen Green?
No, money. Okay, star power and money. They have to go together. You got to have both. You have nobody on that team. Okay. All right, let's go up. Let's go to 3. Who on Memphis do you get to trade for Luka? Ja. Ja. That's it. Okay. And even then, Ja's still not healthy enough to say that, you would want to do that if you're Dallas, which would be weird in a sense. Ja Morant in the Dallas uniform. He's like, man, I got all these guys dunking around me. Do I still get the dunk, or do I not dunk anymore? I don't.
You got Kyrie in the backcourt. That's defensively you eating. I'm like, if you're guarding them, like, or yeah, if that's your defenders is like Kyrie and Ja. No,
I'm breaking. I'm sorry if I'm Kyrie and I get Ja Morant. I'm breaking the assist record. Go get it. Go on up, son. Here, take this. Yeah, our daughters are playing over on the sideline. Don't worry about it, man. We good. Here, just take this lob. Okay. At number 4, Denver. You have 2 choices.
Would you trade Murray?
You have to trade Michael Porter Jr. and Murray. Not one or the other, both. Because your only other option.
Don't even get Iggy started. You know damn well. You know good and well. Don't even.
Iggy, you still there? Iggy, you still there in the chat? Hey, I gotta ask a question. Would you trade Luka Doncic and put him in Denver for Jokic? Coach says OKC could have done picks with J-Dub and picks. You would have given like.
He said, "Oh, okay, all right." I don't know if I believe that.
Oh, make up your mind, sir. He said, yes. No way.
I don't know if I believe that.
I don't want to trade away AD Nuggets. No, we didn't want to trade away AD either. In fact, we thought AD was going to retire in a jersey. My wife said, "I'm glad I didn't get you the Anthony Davis jersey." At this point, I'm personally, I'm just happy to have the jersey in Laker uniform. Okay, whether that player then goes away or not, like years ago, I was going to get an Amari Cooper jersey. Amari Cooper and Josh Jacobs jersey. I was in the city. I was in San Francisco. I was at their Nike store. They actually had city colorway jerseys, like half off. Prime opportunity. I could have bought the jersey right there. I don't care what. Like in retrospect, I shouldn't have cared so much about if the player was going to leave. And I think that when you have jersey acquisitions, I think what it should do is should show that you appreciated the player while they were there. Essentially, I appreciate AD for his services while he was here. So I think that what we'll realize later on in life is we shouldn't have gotten so twisted up in you're no longer a insert team player. Your jersey no longer has value. No, jersey is a reflection of that player actually existing on a team. We can't erase the work that they've done. And there's no erasing the work that Anthony Davis has done. I mean, he single-handedly carried us through a lot of games last year. This year, too. I mean, LeBron's the way that AD started this year, and the quote from JJ Redick was, "We're out to make Anthony Davis MVP this year." It was a strong statement from a first-year coach, and I didn't believe it in the preseason. And when I saw Anthony Davis play, I was like, okay, it's possible. It's possible. Now, we got to go face Anthony Davis. I just hope Anthony Davis is not available 225. I'm not joking. I hope that that's the game that he's not available. Him or Kyrie. I can't see them both. Iggy, thank you for correcting that you don't want to trade any Nuggets, not trading Jokic for Doncic. I wouldn't trade Jokic for Doncic. If Denver told me today that Jokic was available, you can have LeBron.
You're not gonna hear me argue against it, like I at all.
You can. Oh, and the way that the team constructed, you can have LeBron and Rui. Okay. Listen, you want to take Jackson Hayes too, because we're still trying to figure him out. We will take
something else in the perspective here, like, and I think Coach said something about this. Rudy Gobert got traded for how many first round picks was it again? 4, 5,
3 or 4, I think,
something like that.
Yeah,
Luka only went for 1. In hindsight, if you want to count Jalen and Max, yeah.
Well, you got to understand that the Rudy Gobert trade was before the new CBA with the aprons. So just being able to throw those projected round those picks in there, plus the contract that Rudy was given at that time. Okay, so a couple of things about that trade. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell fed up with. That's who they traded. Okay, that moment, Donovan Mitchell had to go off in the playoffs, and remember the Donovan Mitchell, the Spider versus Murray. Back and forth. That series was epic. Then Rudy gets sent off, right? And then the CBA happens. And then, and now we're here today.
I mean, but I get it, and being able to look at it now, but it's still just even looking at it from that time frame, like the fact that he went for as much as he did, and I think KD also. I mean, KD just recently got traded too, like, and you see it with the picks, like.
Yeah, but I think if you were Brooklyn, you kind of had to do that because Katie was the last one standing, and it was like we either got him, or we got this mug. What's my Australian brother's name? That can't hit a jump shot to save his life. Hmm?
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's your only other superstar, right? So, all right, let's answer some questions real quick. Iggy asked, all right, so Coach already said if you're OKC, if at 5 first, he'd do it for Luca. Right. I mean, if you're gonna go ahead and like shut it down or just say, oh, shut down for the season, but 5 first is cool, but all those firsts are like yearly conditional, so you'd have to like build. You're saying you're gonna build through the draft. You still have to have some sort of talent acquisition at that point to satisfy your superstar. So I'm not sure about that. Iggy asks, will LA and Dallas both move up the Western Conference? I don't doubt that Dallas. I think that Dallas will at least contend for that 6th spot because of scheduling. Okay. Scheduling and health are going to play a big factor over the next couple of months. We broke down the schedule a bit for the preseason. This is about when you started to see some funny stuff happen. Good morning, everyone. But yeah, I doubt that Los Angeles can move up.
I'm about to say I don't.
Yeah, even if they got their 5, say that Lakers completed their list. I think this, for one, there were 10 games out of first last I checked.
Mm-hmm. That's right now, so.
Which is that's a pretty big chunk to make up towards this part of the season. And at this point, what you kind of do is you get locked in on what your roster is, you make your final tweaks, and then you get through the All-Star break because everyone gets their rest. Shout out to Jokic for showing up, doing overtime, sir. I appreciate you. And then you go to your home run stretch. What up, JC? Thanks for coming in, bro. So that's usually what happens, and then you kind of hit cruise control. So that cruise control part does not give you a 10-game difference. Plus the 3 teams that we're talking about that are up top, or let's talk about all 4 teams. Denver right now finds ways to win games, and they have a pretty good schedule in their favor. Okay, yeah, towards the end of the season, it's going to suck for them. It's going to suck for a few teams, but I think it's going to suck for the top 5 teams equally. Okay, so they're not going anywhere. Number 3 at Memphis, it just depends on health. They've had some guys go in and out. Guys like Santi Aldama has been out with sickness, illnesses, and injuries and whatnot. So maybe, but that would be more of like a flip flop between Denver and Memphis at the 3 and the 4. At the 2, Houston is doing good enough to maintain that position. Like maybe towards the end of the season, they might end up in some sort of like tie for second, and they'll have to battle it out the last few games to try to determine their seeding if they really want to do that. But they have young enough talent, they have strong enough talent, they have great enough everything in order to stay at that second position. The problem is, how many games against the top 2 do you have as a team for the Lakers? And I think there's too many to say that the Lakers can move up. It's possible. I mean, it's mathematically possible. There's a lot of games to be played. I just don't think that it's enough time with their new talent to be able to make the right adjustments. Because again, the Lakers were becoming a defensively sound team. They had won out of the last 13 games, I believe they won 9 of them, which is amazing to say. They were something like 3rd in defensive field goal opponent, 3rd in opponent 3-point field goal percentage, right? So they were guarding the perimeter as well as a lot of teams in the NBA. Scoring, offensive opponent scoring was down, which means the Lakers defense had turned up. And I said it 20 minutes ago on that rant, and I said now you traded a shell for an island. Okay, that's what you did. You traded a shell, a defensive shell, for an island.
Let me say something real quick. I
Yeah.
want to top that. I would imagine that, like you said, Dallas is going to be able to vie for that playing spot. I mean, they'll probably get somewhere up to the 6th seed. Like I legit think they can at least get to the 6th, but I don't think it would be any higher than that, given what their roster is currently constructed like right now. Granted, we still got between now and Thursday because we don't know what the hell else is going to go on between now and then as far as who's going to make moves and what is going to be made. Um, in a perfect world, I would love to sit here and say that the Lakers have a chance to move up, but it's like at best, you're probably thinking that they may be going back and forth with Denver for that 4 or 5 spot for the rest of the year. If I'm being completely honest, in a perfect world, I would love for them to sit here and say, yeah, they can at least get up to maybe the 3 seed. But even then, it's like because they're 3.5 games back at the 3 spot right now. Well, 3 and 2 because they're the same record right now. But even then, there's so much that is still to be said between now and Thursday, and also you have to look at where their schedule is at least before the All Star break. Like I got the schedule pulled up right now as far as their next few games before the All Star break, and granted, we don't know what the hell's gonna happen between now and then. But I mean, just listen to these for a second. You got the Clippers on the 4th, which that's in whatever they're into a dome or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And then they got the Warriors, the Pacers, and then the Jazz twice. So that's 3 home games and then 2 road games. You got 5 games before that break. Against a Clippers team that's vying for that playing spot. Golden State that's at the bottom of the standings right now, but LeBron is still playing like it's nobody's business, like he's in his early 20s. That's a home game for them. They got Indiana on the 8th, which for all we know, Miles Turner might be in the Lakers uniform by then. Who knows? So that's going to be an interesting thought process if that actually happens. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. And then the Jazz. So, I mean, there's still a lot to be said between now and when that trade deadline comes on Thursday, and we have no idea what the rest of the season is going to look like. Because looking at the season for them, as far as like some of these games, I'm like, oof. Schedule makers didn't do any favors for the Lakers because I'm looking at that last final stretch. Their last 10 games, you got
What up,
Memphis.
Antonio?
What's up? You got Memphis, Houston, Memphis, Houston, OKC twice on the road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why
Houston again, and then Portland.
That's what I'm saying. Like the final stretch is gonna suck. I don't.
Terrible.
If you hit,
but
hold on. So it is quite possible. So if the standings shake now, then those games will matter. If everything stands pat, the standings won't, like those games won't matter because now everyone is resting and jockeying for the playoffs. Because the only other team that OKC is competing against right now is Cleveland for home court advantage throughout the playoffs. But as far as the West, all they got to do is like keep that long arm away from Houston, and they're good. They get to those final 5 games, and they're still with that cushion. They're done. And now Houston's like, okay, do we want the 2 or the 3? So that's where those 3 games, OKC, Houston, might not matter as much. But you have to keep an eye on how the NBA is performing as a whole, or more particular, the Western Conference towards the end.
Oh, wait. It's 2 OKC games, Dallas, and then Houston. But either way, like you got 4 games in the span of like a week. It's like the 6th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 11th. So it's like, and all of those on the road with the exception of the Houston game. The Houston game is at home.
I texted family last night. I got my former boss talking about that's fine. I couldn't stand AD anyway. That's a fellow Lakers fan. I got my sister in Las Vegas who said I kind of like it, kind of shakes things up. She's a Dallas fan, I think. I mean, she watches hoops probably more than I do. So, um, let's switch gears for a second. Okay, so taking a break from the absolute nonsense that just happened last night. We got our all-star reserves, y'all. Hey, I said we were going to talk about all-star reserves today. We need to talk about those real quick. So in the chat, I mean, over the last week or so, Rico, we were talking you were talking about snubs, and last week we were talking about LaMelo Ball. Okay. So LaMelo, as you know, in that game versus the Lakers, he twisted his ankle on Jared Vanderbilt's heel backpedaling. So he didn't get voted in. He didn't get picked for the All-Star team. You said that was the biggest snub. A lot of people were also saying LaMelo Ball biggest snub. Why do you feel that way? And I'm going to bring up the squad. Who would you replace? Who would you use for him to replace?
Looking at it from a standpoint, like I will say this, I haven't watched that much Charlotte basketball, but still looking at what he's been able to do for that team and where they're at currently, like it just everything that he's done leading up to that moment, up until the injury, like was enough for me to look at him and realize that he's been doing enough to get garner that all-star act that spot. I think he was like leading the team in like points stuff. Like I think there was stats and stuff going about how he has more points. Like he's leading a lot of the stats in like some categories more so than some of the other reserves on the roster.
Yeah,
I'm just like he's doing what he can on the bad team. Like team aside, like I don't really care too much about how if the team is playing bad. Like you still have to be able to recognize great players for who they are, regardless of who the team is at times. Because you got some great players that'll play on some crappy teams with bad records, and people don't look at them because of how the record is. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But I look at it from this standpoint. I was shocked to see that Tyler Hero got that spot. Now, maybe I just missed something because all I've been hearing about out of Miami is the whole like, oh, it's Jimmy, the whole Jimmy drama. That's all that's been talked about mainly. I hadn't really been watching what Hero's been doing, but I was shocked that he got that spot over LaMelo. And like, I know we were talking about how injuries kind of play a factor in it, but the thing of it is, like, he got injured like I think a couple of days before the actual reserves got announced. And it's like I still feel like he should have been at least been in the running. Now there were some people out there that said Luka got snubbed, and I'm like, Luka's been missing like the last 3 weeks to a month. So I don't know how you could sit here and say he got snubbed. Like, much respect to him, but he wasn't getting a spot. Now Trae Young, that's another guy that also I look at him like, ugh, it kind of sucks for him, but I mean, he's been great. He's also one of those guys that a lot of people are looking at as how much more can he do in Atlanta? Like, what is it going to look like for him in the next few days,
right.
Going forward. But I would have looked at Hero and probably swapped him with LaMelo. And I know you were talking about how, in terms of like that injury, you have to look at it. He just got hurt, so they would have had to have somebody in his spot right then and there. I'm like, okay, cool, I get that, but you also got to think about it from a contractual standpoint. Like these all-star like selections are kind of playing with these boys' money though too. Like you get extra incentives for like getting an all-star selection, like not just as a reserve, like just not an all-star period. So the fact that he didn't even get voted in at all is just like you bring that up too. You bring up the whole thing with Charlotte's not doing that well, but I genuinely felt like he should have been in that spot over Tyler Hero. But
For sure.
That's just me. And then there's some people that are complaining about how, maybe Darius Garland didn't belong in there. And I'm like, Cleveland got the best record in the league. So it's like, they, regardless of how people feel about that, if you got the best record in the league, people are watching your team. So they're going to be voting for people that they see on the court. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Spider. Those are the three guys that are helping push that team right now. So you can't sit here and not say that they didn't deserve it.
Yep.
it's a subjective thing. Like everybody says, who's the most deserving, who got snubbed. Like we did our part as fans voting. The coaches and the players did their parts. Like the coaches are the ones that made that point for the reserves. We
Mm-hmm.
don't get we don't make that decision. Like we did
Nope.
what we were supposed to do. Like we went out and
Yep.
voted.
Yep.
Coaches make that final choice. So
All right. So just going through the East real quick. For the guards, Brunson, Mitchell, Tatum, Brown, Cade, Garland, Hero, Dame. Who are you taking out? Probably Tyler Hero, huh?
I say hero, but I'm also like, has Dame been doing that well this year? Like maybe I've
Yeah.
just been
I mean, offensively, he's been pretty solid. Offensively, he's been pretty solid. I would say that. And he's on Milwaukee, which has, and Giannis. I think we've had enough time together to where you can pair Giannis with Dame. I think that's so. I think that they go hand in hand. So if you know that one's performing well, you always hear about the other performing well, vice versa.
right.
One performing value. So the name itself is in the mouths of everyone. You are talking about a team that has been a champion within the last decade. So to be fair, that's the same thing for like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They both got Jason's a starter. Jaylen got named as a reserve. Both stars in their own right. Of course, you got Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns that both got named starters. But for those two, they were already all stars before that. So it was essentially like, oh, we already recognized. It was name recognition. I think it has nothing to do with them being on the Knicks. Because you can watch Knicks basketball and it's a 50-50 ball. You have a great night where they're going and killing teams like Denver, and you have a sad night like last night where they're getting stomped out by the Lakers, okay? And that's not to knock the Lakers, but the Lakers are the 5th best team in the West, and then you went and beat the 4th best team in the West by double digits. Make it make sense. But it has nothing to
bring it to effect here is the fact that like the whole Joel Embiid thing, he hasn't been playing most of the season, so he is playing. Another thing that comes into play: does Cat get that starting spot? Obviously, I don't think he does. And then you're having Cat as a reserve. Then who gets bumped out in the reserves? Like there's always this domino effect of how if it's not one thing, it's another. Like
Would you like to know what I woke up with this morning? I woke up with a thought.
oh boy, oh.
Embiid to the Lakers.
No, see, hold on. I was talking to my boy Steven. And I legit said we need to figure out what our rotation is gonna look like as far as a big man. And he straight up told me y'all want Embiid. And I was like,
what's my boy say on IG? Sensational.
I was like,
absolutely diabolical. Yo, Rui, what you think about Philly and their fans? You know what? If by Thursday I saw that Embiid was on the Lakers, I would be like, all right, whatever. That's all I would say. All right, whatever. My only question would be: is he available for back-to-backs?
no.
Did he waive his back-to-back clause? I don't know. All-star selection. I think that Hero getting okay. So Hero getting named over Bam was my thing, because Bam Adebayo was essentially the that little like linchpin for Miami and how they've been performing over the season. Yeah. Tyler Hero has been great. Offensively has improved. He's been way more consistent. All-star level. I mean, he's a second option on that team because Jimmy's not available. Bam's the first. Tyler's the second. That's it. I mean, yeah, they traded for Terry Rozier. I don't know if anyone remembers or remembers that at all. That's how we got Caleb Martin over in Philly. Okay, so
other stuff now too. So we gotta.
So I don't know how you get Tyler Hero in there, but he got picked. It is what it is. Cade Cade Cunningham, I would not replace because he's been on an absolute tear. He's averaging
Not
like
at all.
28. Pascal Siakam is one of the only reasons why. Well, actually, has been the main reason why Indiana stayed relevant. And then Mobley, of course, we know he's on the first place team. Darius Garland on the first place team. Donovan Mitchell on the first place team. There is no one on that list but Hero that I would replace. And I wouldn't replace him with LaMelo right away. And I think it's because as soon as Dame went over to Milwaukee, the backlog of guards got that much tighter. So in the scoring, in the statistical sense, absolutely. But are you watching the All-Star game to watch someone run up the stats, or are you watching flashy players? Rozier about to go to jail. Yeah, coaches talking about some news that had popped up in this last week about there being a federal investigation about Rozier manufacturing and manipulating some of his games while he was part of the Charlotte Hornets in a gambling scheme. The Jonte Porter, okay? If you guys are trying to figure out the reference and everything like that, just go look it up, Google it. But nonetheless, All-Star. LaMelo, I don't. If LaMelo had if you put LaMelo in the West, you don't have the same argument because all right, let's throw out the West real quick. Steph, KD, Shea, Bron, Jokic, starters. Okay, AD. And Beard, Triple J, Shengun, Alien, and then J Dub on OKC. Jalen Williams, JALEN, because they got two. If y'all didn't know that, watch more Thunder basketball. Thunder up. There is no one, and I repeat, no one that I would replace on in the West. Because Harden has been on fire. Anthony, I picked him for MVP. He's not gonna get it, but hey, long shots, love long shots. Steph hasn't been available, but it's Steph Curry. It's in San Francisco. That's low hanging fruit. If Steph wasn't picked as a starter, Steph would have been a reserve player. There's nothing you could have done about it. Okay, sorry about it. Maybe you replace LeBron James. Since we're talking about shipping LeBron James for Jokic right now. I mean, if you're shippable, you're replaceable. That's it. Okay. If you try to say you're going to replace Jalen Williams, I get it for one reason and one reason only, because you don't watch as much basketball as the rest of us do. One of the other reasons why OKC is in first place, I just went through the East. I said Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell. So if you don't know who Darius Garland or Evan Mobley are, those are two of the defensive anchors, two of the other reasons why, of the 5 reasons why Cleveland is in first place. Okay, there are 5, and there are 5 players, but those are 2 players on the first place team, and Jalen Williams is one of those players on OKC. The reason why OKC is in first place, and if you don't watch Thunder basketball, you have been missing out, and shame on the NBA for keeping that from you. Okay, I would not replace LaMelo Ball. I would not replace Jalen Williams with LaMelo Ball. There's no disrespect to LaMelo Ball. Again, statistically been great, but his playing the way that he's achieved them has not been the best. But Charlotte announcers, though, they better be announcing the All-Star game. That's all I got to say. Listening to Charlotte basketball. Listening to Charlotte basketball is amazing, okay? Snubs and dubs. Biggest surprise. Who got the biggest benefit out of all that? Again, running down the list. In the West, actually, I'll go. The thing is, you can go through the list and you could probably get, out of the 13 slots, you could probably get 10 of them. So we're gonna go with the 3 that you probably wouldn't get, which is Alperen Şengün, Jalen Williams, and then I'm gonna say that third one would probably be James Harden. because most people probably would have said Kawhi. Like if you just went up to someone on the street, they probably would have said Kawhi out of all that. So, or they would have said Luka, right? They would have said Luka Doncic instead of saying anyone on the Clippers. So out of James Harden, Alperen Sengun, and Jalen Williams, who do you think got the biggest benefit?
In terms of like getting voted in as an all-star?
Reserve, all-star. They're part of the team. So they're gonna do the thing.
I'm gonna say Alperen Sengun. Like a lot of people were talking big about him last year. I was big on him last year in terms of like making a all-star spot this year. So it's well deserved. And just looking at this, the Houston Rockets team as a whole, like nobody had them coming out playing the way that they were this year, and they're currently sitting at the 2nd seed.
Yep.
So obviously he's been getting a lot of exposure.
Yep.
And a lot of people have just been really, really high on Alperen Sengun, even from last year and probably years past. Obviously Williams, I mean, he's playing on OKC, but if you were watching OKC basketball last year, you knew about this. If you weren't, I would hope that you at least heard about him. And if you weren't watching them last year, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Harden, like everybody knows who Harden is. Harden's a name, but he has been solely responsible for keeping that Clippers team afloat.
Facts.
I mean, Kawhi ain't been there. He's been just been in and out of the lineup recently. I know he had some stuff going on with like his family with the fires and everything, so he had to miss time for that. But I mean, I'm not gonna hold that against him. Obviously, that's family stuff. But
yeah,
even with the injuries and everything, like Harden's been still showing that he is him. Like he's I mean, the Clippers are sitting at the 6th spot right now. I didn't give them much credit going into the season once Kawhi went down. I mean, I still technically know him, but that's just a hater in me as a Lakers fan. So you can call it what it is. But yeah, I mean, I'll give it like in an order, like Alperen, Williams, Harden. That's kind of how I see it.
Yep. Okay. And then real quick, just the East. The East is a little bit of a mixed bag because now it goes by who you know, right? So they know Greek, they know Brunson, they know Tatum, they know Cat, but they probably would have forgot that Cat was in New York. JB might be a toss-up. Dame might be there. So now there's like 7 names. Because as well as he's done, no one knows Pascal Siakam. No one knows who Evan Mobley is. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Everyone can probably guess, like, oh yeah, isn't Darius Garland playing for somebody? They probably think that he might be a bench player. And I'm saying about where the names have stood right now as far as being household. No one would have guessed Tyler Hero. And Cade, Detroit was sitting like 4th a while ago, and now I believe they're 8th in the standings. Have gone through a rush of like just a really tough schedule and injuries and everything as it hit the team now.
Detroit is up.
Cade isn't I don't think he's a guessable name. So that's like 7, almost 8 names. The court gesture, Alperen Sengun. Coach got jokes. Who's the biggest benefit of that? And then we're gonna get to one other thing, and then we're out of time. So who do you think out of that benefits for the East the most?
I would think Cade. Like I honestly think it would be Cade. Just looking at, like I said, Detroit's been, over the last few years having these high ass draft picks, and they finally at least have some resemblance of like stability, so to speak. I mean, they're currently they're at 500 right now, 24-24.
Mm-hmm.
A half game back of the 6th seed right now behind Miami. So but Cade's been hooping. Like if you haven't been paying attention, Cade has been hooping. He's
Yep.
been out there playing great basketball. You know, Detroit's doing what they need to do. Um, in a sense, do, I'm gonna go off on just a little bit of a tangent. I do kind of hate it for Orlando simply because I'm looking at two dudes, Paolo and Franz. If they had been healthy in that midst of all this stuff going on, again, there's another thing where you look at possibly one of those two guys getting in, if not both of them, and then you got another somebody else that's gonna be missing out.
Agreed.
So you
Agreed.
just there. But yeah, I definitely gotta say it's got to be K though. Like no ifs ands or buts about it.
Okay. All right. So we're just gonna leave that at that. So I'm gonna end up falling down a rabbit hole as far as the All-Star stuff is concerned. We just got a few minutes to go. So I want to throw a couple things out there, some news, stuff that's out there that you guys need to go figure out, go follow, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Don't forget that it is Black History Month, y'all. It is time to recognize, celebrate uh, the developments, the advancements, and all the things positive that have been established and put forth by the Black community. Go look up your Black history. Get involved with the local community if they are putting forth any programs. Celebrate, and we appreciate you guys for keeping it positive as far as that's concerned. I'm wearing a shirt right now that says Black Mental Health Matters. I also wear this during Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's important that as far from a health perspective for all my folks and family out there that you get your mentals checked, you get your chicken together, because with there is it's in we are American history, okay, and without us this country does not move in the direction that it has moved. Monuments do not get created. Advancements in medicine, math, and technology do not happen without us. So go out there. Happy Black History Month. Um, and also, I believe that last night's news was trying to combat with all the news that's happening in the WNBA. There are lots of people who are consistent and pushing out the WNBA news. Free agency is happening. It is wild. Whole teams are being eviscerated right now.
Right.
Completely new names. I will not be reporting on them because I want to give room to reporters like people that are reporting on it on X, like Olivia Pope. I got a couple other names that I want to put out there. I'll put them in the chat later, but you need to go follow these people on X. Okay, you need to follow their conversation about what's going on. Follow the players as well. I'm sure a player that's been defensively sound like Dejanay Carrington. Kelsey Plum is in LA, y'all. Kelsey Plum is in LA. Um,
Heard it, I
uh,
think I see that.
I'm going to get
Ever.
I'm going to get I'm going to get Sparks tickets. I'm going to get Sparks tickets
All right,
yes.
Cameron Brink.
Yeah, get her Cameron. I love you, baby. Anyway, so the WNBA is definitely putting out the effort, putting out right there. Unrivaled season is still going strong right now. They're talking about everybody that's just been going off. The one-on-ones. There is a one-on-one tournament, y'all. Y'all been asking for this in the NBA for decades. And Unrivaled said, hold my beer. I got you. One-on-one tournaments is say who's on deck, who got it, who's the queen of the court. Excuse me. So you guys need to go watch Unrivaled. And last but not least, Rico's been here, y'all. Yo, shout out to Rico. Appreciate you, sir, for coming on to the show today. You got anything to say before we get out of here, sir?
Nah, I'm gonna echo the sentiments you said, man. Happy Black History Month, man. Like it's a wonderful time to check out, a lot of creators out there on their various platforms, whether it be, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, what do you want to call it, TikTok, which is back for who knows how long.
5
Um,
seconds.
it's like Jared, Black history is American history, man. There's no other way around it, and I'm grateful to be in a space where I can kind of talk hoops with a good friend of mine and just be able to kind of just be in a space where everything is just is good right now. But also, like you said, everybody just kind of take this time to focus on yourselves if you can. Get your mental right, get your mind right. I know things are going crazy out there in the world, but make sure you check on yourself first and foremost, because you can't check on other people if you're not right. So that's just kind of how that is.
For real. Let's see. Other than that, man.
Also, just look out for Thursday. Look out for Thursday because ain't no telling what's going to go down between now and then. So we,
we don't want Luka because he's fat and lazy.
I don't know what else to expect.
Can you imagine Denver saying we don't want Jokic because he's fat and lazy? Like, are you kidding me?
Nico Harris is going down as the worst GM in the city of Dallas right now. He took that from Jerry Jones. Jerry, take a back seat.
Time is the great equalizer, y'all. And I appreciate your time with us. We love you guys. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We out, sir.